News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Nathan Hager.
And I'm Karen Moscow.
Karen, we're going to have more on the markets in a minute, but first we're tracking Hurricane Melissa, intensifying now into a Category 5 storm, drawing closer to Jamaica. Bloomberg meteorologist Craig Allen is tracking it for us.
Hurricane Melissa is now in the top 10 for the strongest on record in the Atlantic. Maximum sustained wind speeds continue around 175 miles per hour with gusts over 215 miles per hour. Jamaica has already been taking a beating through the day, but now the storm, which had been stationary for a few hours, seems to be looping around and starting that north-northeast turn right towards Jamaica. And at this very slow speed of only 2 to 4 miles per hour, it's likely that devastating hurricane winds, the storm surge of 9 to 13 feet, and 20 to 30 inches of rain or more will last right through the day on Tuesday. It may begin to taper down during Tuesday night, but not before parts of the island are decimated.
That's Bloomberg meteorologist Craig Allen, and stay with Bloomberg for team coverage of Hurricane Melissa all morning long.
Let's get to the latest now from President Trump's trip to Asia. Nathan, this morning the president is in Japan, where he's been speaking to sailors on board the USS George Washington aircraft carrier and heaping praise on Japan's new Prime Minister, Sanae Takaichi.
This woman is a winner. So, we've become very close friends all of a sudden because their stock market today and our stock market today hit an all-time high. That means we're doing something right.
And the president was joined by the prime minister, who promised to fundamentally reinforce her nation's defense capabilities. Earlier, the two leaders met for the first time in Tokyo. President Trump said he stands behind Takaichi.
Anytime you have any question, any doubt, anything you want, any favors you need, anything I can do to help Japan, we will be there. We are an ally at the strongest level.
President Trump and Prime Minister Takaichi signed documents aimed at formalizing some of the trade agreements made under her predecessor. That includes a Japanese pledge to fund $550 billion in U.S. projects. The list of companies interested in funding them includes SoftBank, Westinghouse, and Toshiba in areas ranging from energy to AI and critical minerals.
On Washington, Karen, it is now day 28 of the government shutdown, and the country's biggest federal workers union, the American Federation of Government Employees, has been calling on Democrats to go along with Republicans' demand for a clean short-term spending bill, but Democrats are mostly resisting that call. Senate Democrat Andy Kim of New Jersey says his party's sticking to its demand to extend expiring health insurance subsidies.
A number of Republicans support extending these subsidies. It's just that Speaker Johnson is preventing them from even being here in D.C. for negotiations. This is a dereliction of duty and an abdication of leadership.
Senator Andy Kim's comments are being echoed by Republican Senator Tom Tillis. In an interview with Bloomberg Government, the North Carolina Republican says his party should extend Obamacare subsidies for 2 years and address cuts to Medicaid provider payments or risk antagonizing voters. Tillis is leaving the Senate when his term expires next year.
Well, Nathan, breaking across the Bloomberg this morning, Amazon cutting thousands of jobs. And we get more with Bloomberg's Lisa Mateo. Lisa, good morning.
Good morning, Karen. Yeah, and its shares are up more than 0.5%. This was in a memo sent out to employees today. Amazon announced an overall reduction of about 14,000 corporate roles. It will include lowering headcount in some areas, also hiring in other areas. Now, the company says it'll offer most employees 90 days to look for a new role internally, and those who cannot find one, well, they'll be offered severance pay, outplacement services, and health insurance benefits. Amazon says artificial intelligence, it has been allowing companies to innovate much faster than ever before, and they need to be organized more leanly with fewer layers, more to ownership, and to move as quickly as possible for their customers and for their business. Lisa Mateo, Bloomberg Radio.
Okay, Lisa, thank you. Turning to the broader market now, stocks enter the Tuesday session in record fashion. All four major indexes closed at all-time highs. Lori Calvasina is head of U.S. equity strategy at RBC Capital Markets.
We're hitting levels that we, have kind of marked the ceiling in the past decade, but we're not sitting at tech bubble highs either. So I think we have kind of a plain old-fashioned valuation problem where things have gotten a bit over their skis. But I don't think that this compares, frankly, to that peak in 2000. I don't think that this is bubble territory.
RBC Capital Markets' Lori Calvasina has a 7,100 price target for the S&P 500 for the second half of next year.
Well, Nathan, investors will now turn their attention to earnings and a Fed meeting, and Jay Powell and company kick off a two-day meeting on interest rates today. We get a preview with Bloomberg's Michael McKee.
For the Fed, it's an existential question. How do you know where you're going if you don't know where you are? Almost all data on the economy has been cut off by the government shutdown. Their rate decision will be based largely on what policymakers thought was happening before the shutdown and what they've picked up from companies and consumers in their districts. It appears they go into the meeting more divided than they have been in years. At least 3 members have suggested it's too risky to cut rates now. CPI inflation, the one data point we did get, is still rising. About as many say the economy is dangerously close to stalling and a cut is needed. The biggest group is in the middle, perhaps leaning towards a cut. That's what Fed Chair Jay Powell has let the markets price, and as the two-day meeting starts, that's the best bet. Michael McKee, Bloomberg Radio.
And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Karen Moscow.
I'm Nathan Hager, and this is Bloomberg.